Hello there and welcome to Black Jackal Gaming. We're going to take a look at the Suppressor squad, which is one of the Primaris flying units. Now this is a unit that can deep strike, so it can come in from turn 2 onwards unless you use the rapid ingress, and can land 9 inches outside of any enemy units. It has a relatively poor ballistic skill, but it does come with a heavy keyword. It's got a good ability to debuff the ballistic skill of enemy units. It's got an okay amount of medium strength firepower. No leaders can join the unit, which is a bit of an issue. There's no upgrade you can do it. It's part of that Primaris line that comes out, and it is how it is. And its rules are a little bit counterproductive to how you probably want to use it. You get 3 models in a unit, and it comes in at 85 points, which isn't all too expensive. Comes in at movement 12, toughness 4, save 3+, 2 wounds, leadership 6, and objective control 1. And it does have that key deep strike ability to come in from reserves. Its ranged weapons, you just come with basically the one. There's no upgrades for this unit, so it comes with the accelerator auto cannon, which has the heavy keyword. It's got a 48-inch range, 3 shots. Importantly, ballistic skill 4, which is a bit disappointing. Strength 8, -1 AP and 2 damage, and then they come with the standard bolt pistol, which is the pistol keyword, 12-inch range, 1 attack, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, 1 damage. The melee weapon is just the standard close combat weapon for Space Marines, so 3 attacks, weapon skill 3, strength 4, 1 damage. It does come with a nice ability called Suppression Fire, so after you've shot this unit, you can select one unit that you've hit, and until the start of your next turn, anytime this unit does a ranged or melee attack, you'll subtract 1 from the hit roll. So if you're against any units that are they've got a fair few attacks, or they've got really strong attacks, but the ballistic skill or weapon skill is more in the 4 range, by giving you a minus on that and pushing them onto 5s, it's really going to hurt their ability to dish out any firepower or melee power. So what buffs and combos can you add to this unit to make it more effective? No leaders can join it, so you don't get any benefits from their abilities or any of the war gear they can bring along. They don't have the Phobos keyword or the Tacticus keyword, so you are missing out on certain strats and abilities, such as having the ability to pull them out of the battlefield if they've got a Phobos unit. So you are missing out on just some key utilization for standard Space Marine units, really. There's 3 detachments that these guys are relatively good in, and they're pretty much the 3 detachments that are more the cornerstone of the Space Marine Codex. So your first one, you got your Vanguard Spearhead. So if you're outside of 12 inches, you're -1 to hit and you gain the benefits of cover. Being just a toughness 4, 2 wound unit, you are really going to need this extra durability, allowing you to stay around a little bit longer. Having just 6 wounds in the unit is not really going to keep you around for that long without certain buffs to your defensive capabilities. Now there's a stratagem that you can use, which is quite nice, called Strike from the Shadows, and this is when you're outside of 12 inches, so you're gaining that detachment rule for Vanguard by staying outside of these 12 inches. You improve the ballistic skill and the AP for your weapons, so if you're remaining stationary, you will be hitting on 2s at this point, -2 and 2 damage, so you're really starting to ramp up the ability of these guys to actually hit the target, and when they do wound them, it's going to be harder for certain armies to save them, because you're going to be pushing them on 5, 6s or no saves at all on those. 2 damage are basically there to be Space Marine killers at this point. The next attachment is the Anvil Siege Force. Because they already have the heavy keyword, when you're stationary they get +1 to wound as well. So that little bit of bonus, so you'll be hitting on 3s. Majority of things in the game you're going to be wounding on 3s, possibly 2s. So it's quite a nice little buff to give these guys. There's a stratagem that you can use, which is a really good stratagem, which you can use for most units in the game in Anvil Siege Force, because it's really good. So your infantry units gain sustained 1 on all ranged attacks, and if they're stationary, which you're going to want these guys to be to get that benefit from heavy, they're critical hitting on 5s instead. So when you've got 9 shots and you're crit hitting on 5 and sustained, really you're going to be picking up an extra 3-4 hits each time you fire. Last and by no means least is the Firestorm Assault Force. This gains you the assault keyword, so if you're targeting a unit within 12 inches, you get +1 to your strength, Being assault means you can advance and fire the weapons still, which is quite nice. You will be losing that +1 to hit from the heavy keyword though. And then there's a stratagem called Crucible of Battle, and if you're selecting the closest eligible target within 6 inches, you get +1 to wound on top of this as well. So being strength 9 and you're targeting most units in the game with your +1 to wound, you really are going to be wounding the majority of the games on 2s or 3s, with just the odd thing wounding on the likes of 4s or higher. They're in a fortunate position, the Suppressors, because it's a bit counterintuitive what you want to use them for. They're a fast unit being 12-inch movement, and they can deep strike, but the weapon is basically set up to stand still, otherwise it's slightly on the useless side. But you are having the ability to reduce other units' ability to hit your own army, which you have to move into position to target them. So they're a really strange combination of rules. Unfortunately, when you've got the likes of the assault squad coming in at 5 points cheaper, that can have leaders join them and do have 2 plasma pistols plus a power weapon plus chainswords and the same profile, and they're coming in an additional 4 wounds. And there's extra stratagems and war gear you can use to buff them further. The Suppressors are just in quite a weird position where they're not that efficient for points really, and the Assault Marines are just far superior, especially when they have the ability to charge and do damage in combat and have that mortal wound ability when charging into combat as well. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any comments, then pop them below in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, then please hit the like button, as it greatly helps the channel. Hit the subscribe button to see any future Warhammer content. Take it easy, and see you next time for more grim darkness from the 41st millennium.